that we have had the opportunity to talk with you so much about the progress and hopefulness for the Ambazonia people.
Yeah.
And we'd love for you to share your excitement and why you decided to continue the collaboration and what a Trump second term means for your cause.
Dr. Teacher.
I'm overwhelmed. We are extremely excited with President Trump being elected back into office. We're extremely excited. President Trump gives hope to the Amazonian people. It's like a dream come true for our people, because during the first President Trump's term in office, he did everything for the Amazonian people. But unfortunately, the past 4 years has not been, the Biden administration have not really done anything for the suffering people on the ground. As we speak, I'm telling you this, in Ambazonia right now, as we speak, we're talking about a territory that has been under siege by the colonial military of La République Cameroon. We're talking about a people that are enduring enormous suffering. The people are suffering. Over 60,000 of the Amazonian people have been killed. There is an active genocide going on in Amazonia. Currently, we have 2.5 million people that have been internally and externally displaced in Amazonia. Over 850 villages razed down to ashes, burned down by the colonial military. As we're speaking, over 500,000 of the Amazonian people are suffering in refugee camps all across Africa as refugees. Over 15,000 of the Amazonian people are being locked up in colonial prisons by the colonial La République Cameroon administrators. So the people of Ambazonia needs help, and we believe that the President Trump administration is the right person that is coming in and that's going to help the Amazonian people. So we're super excited. Thank you.
Let me add to that by saying that President Trump coming to office for the second term is actually an answered prayer for us in Amazonia, because in his first 4 years, he did all he could to actually see that things in Amazonia were normalized, but he couldn't really do it because he didn't get a second term. Because in his first term, he was the one that in his, one of his speech actually called out the things that the Light Republic government had been doing for our people, like cutting the internet, cutting lights, killing his own people or killing our people, which he called his own people. And we are grateful that he is coming back to office, because even in his first term, he is the one that, because of the human rights abuses by the Light Republic government on our people in Ambazonia, he cut off the benefits of AGOA, which is the free trade agreement that Cameroon had with America. So he cut that benefit out, and he's the one also who had stopped French Cameroon from using weapons that were given to them to fight Boko Haram, which is a terrorist group that is in the north of Cameroon, close to Nigeria. The Light Republic government was using those weapons to kill innocent Ambazonians. The helicopter that were given them, they were using against our people. The AK-47, all the weapons that Americans gave them, they were using it against our people. So President Trump is the one that called to an end that all the military aid that was given to Cameroon should not be used against our people. So we are hopeful that with President Trump coming back to power in this second term, he is going to call a spade in French Cameroon by letting the French colonial president that has been there for 45 years. What a shame for a president in Africa to be in power for 45 years. I think President Trump is going to be able to tell him that you can't keep rigging elections, you can't keep being in power and killing innocent Ambazonians. And I believe that he will call the war to an end. And above all, recognize the vote of 1961 February that voted 64 member countries of the United Nations for the Ambazonia, or for the freedom of the people of Southern Cameroon. I believe that he's going to recognize that. And that's why we need him, and we want to say that's why we're here in Washington. Thank you.
Yes. So President Trump has tapped former Senator Marco Rubio to be his Secretary of State. How does that help advance your cause, and what is your conception of Senator Marco Rubio being the Secretary of State?
Thank you, Harris. And thank you, Harris. Thank you for doing this. This is wonderful for us. And I see Senator Marco Rubio representing hope, because he originally is coming from Cuba, and he actually originally coming from Cuba and standing against Cuba because of their history of things that America doesn't ally with: terrorism, violence. So I see him as hope, because that's exactly what Southern Cameroons want. Because Marco Rubio, I see Marco Rubio in me, right? Because that is those issues of terrorism. Those are the exact things that are destroying Southern Cameroons. And I see him even before one of the policies that was passed in the Senate, in the U.S. Senate. Marco Rubio was one of the signatories against French Cameroon, human rights violations in Southern Cameroon. And I see the coming of President Trump and Marco Rubio being the new Secretary of State, that things will get better, because he will promote the American conservationist policy of American First, which according to Trump, because Trump wants to look for new grounds rather than spend using American dollars, taxpayers' money in spending in areas where they don't really have much. And Southern Cameroon has a lot of resources that I think that if President Marco Rubio look into the Southern Cameroon questions of freedom again very well, Southern Cameroon will be an excellent ally at the Gulf of Guinea, because we have, for example, we have they produce over 92,000 barrels of oil a day, which comes from Southern Cameroon. Then we also look at the strategic location of Southern Cameroon and the Gulf of Guinea, and we think that that is an area that can easily replace what the America is using in Niger, their American base, and right now it will be an excellent competition from other foreign powers like China, which is gradually taking dominance across Africa. So there's a lot to benefit our natural resources. It will be a win-win. Our streets, our hospitals, our infrastructure will be developed with American support. So there's a lot. It's a win-win with Trump's agenda of American.
So with President Trump's focus on immigration, we are anticipating hearing in his inaugural speech some focus on immigration. What do you think about that? What do you hope to hear in his immigration policy?
Well, let me say this. First, I'm KB Stallworth, chairman of the Black Caucus Foundation of Michigan and Invest Africa. A couple of things I want to say, just to add on to this excitement. And I really want your viewers to understand that one of the things that a Trump administration means is a reevaluation of America's relationships in foreign territories and with its supposed allies. There has not been a focus on American foreign policy in West Africa that has promoted American interests there, that has promoted democracy there. As Dr. Tita mentioned, 4 years ago, there was movement in that direction, and there was hope that once again there would not be this isolated exploitation from the French, from the Chinese, without contesting anything in West Africa. It's real important, as the president talks about America first, that we look at what those markets of opportunities are with allies that will support American interests, counterterrorism, immigration. And people won't be fleeing to America if they can stay at home, if they can live safely at home. And the African American community very much wants to be involved in true investment in West Africa. And we believe that because Mark Rubio's firm position related to not normalizing relationships with Cuba until they stood for the same things that America stands for, we believe he will take that same position with relationships in West Africa. So all we're asking is in that evaluation, we know as the president starts evaluating these relationships, the former military base that was in the Bay of Guinea that will lead to economic development for the Ambazonia people. We're excited about the prospects. There's been, $1 billion worth of oil is exported by the French outside of the territory each and every year, and none of that resource really goes back into redeveloping the community. We believe very strongly that the president will want the American pie to get bigger, and we want that American pie to include Africa
And Ambazonia.
and of course, and I'm just saying it. We have to, commonality of mission, which is a better life quality, is something that is exportable. We have the talent, we have the capability, and we should be supporting democracy. And so,
So as you talk about the talent, Dr. Ngwa, would you talk about education? You were a high school teacher of biology there. Would you talk about the importance of education and the commitment to education?
Yes, I would gladly say so. And I'm so excited about President Trump. Why? He is a man of values. His values does not only include a good education, it includes morality. We used to be a moral nation. That is why we are hoping and believing that just because we have similar values, he will pay attention. He will look deeper into our problem. We're talking of a senseless war. This war is senseless. Senseless. Because the United Nations gave our independence, as you've already heard. But because of whatever happened, they refused us the third option of independence. Okay, now we went and met French Cameroon, whose their moral values is unbelievable. I lived in the 60s to see how we were a sovereign nation, a southern Cameroon. Our environment was clean, crime was like zero, no crime. When French, as they came in, oh my God, our teenagers do not believe how they are trying to survive. Poverty has people. Just destroyed relationships that we used to have with one another. Now crime is off the roof. We just want to go back. We want to be like America. Yes.
So you talked a little bit earlier about what banking was like, what the infrastructure was like, what the schools were like. So can you share a bit more about those particular, what it was like that you wanted to be like again?
I want this standards, educational standards to be high, competitive, globally. Right now we are having French teachers who don't even know how to speak English, teaching our children in English. They don't even understand it. So what type of children are we? What type of future? We will not be competitive. Our school,
So English is the first language.
In Ambazonia.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
English is the language of Ambazonia.
And let me ask you a question that you just asked Marguerite about the things that we lost. Before we got the fake union with French Cameroon, we used to have a deep sea port that is natural, that could anchor any kind of ship in Ambazonia. It's been destroyed by French Cameroon. We used to have our airline that could fly. I saw the itinerary in the 60s, how planes were leaving Chico Airport in Ambazonia to Frankfurt, to New York, to Germany. I wept because I never knew, because they destroyed the airlines, destroyed the airports. Our banking system, our fathers told us that in those days, you could not borrow up to 500,000 in French Cameroon from their banks without going to France. But in Ambazonia, you could go to the bank and borrow 500,000 CFA at that time and do business. So they destroyed the banking system. They destroyed the power camp, the company that generated electricity in Ambazonia. Now we don't have electricity because they destroyed it. They destroyed water. These are all companies that used to bring in innovations in Ambazonia. Even our CDC, that is the highest producing company above the Cameroon government, they destroy it because we produce oil, palm oil, we produce cocoa, we produce coffee. All these things have been destroyed. And the little that is coming out of there, we don't even see anything. So a Trump administration coming back to power is a restoration of all these things that French Cameroon destroyed in Amazonia. And we can't wait to see the Trump administration do this for us. Thank you.
Let me also add, before you come in, Dr. Harris, in what the aspect of education, with the very good educational system that we have, which is supposed to be the British or American educational system that we had in the past, because of the ongoing war, the military has gone into schools, killed children in schools and school campuses, and that has prevented over 1.1 million children out of school. This is real data that we have there. Our people are suffering a lot on the ground, and most of the kids can't go to school because of the war. So we're extremely excited that President Trump is coming back to office. Yes, we did everything during the campaign time to make sure that he comes back to the office so he can help the Amazonian people. I mean, I know for sure, we know for sure that President Trump will do well for the suffering people of Amazonia to help relieve the suffering that they're going through. Our people are suffering enormously. So we really need his help, and we're excited, that you guys have us, this morning or this afternoon for this evening. We can't wait.
And one thing, there is no moral person that will convert a school into a military base.
Yes. They're taking the schools, government schools, to be military camps. That's what the military go and see. The schools have closed down.
So Dr. Harris, let me make sure that your viewers get this. While there is strife and oppression, what I really want your viewers to understand is that West Africa represents tremendous economic opportunity for the American people. And this is the piece that sustainability and growth. We have a tremendous opportunity to do better by simply doing good. To do better by doing good. There is so much opportunity. And so the last 4 years, that just has not been part of the agenda. As a private investor that believes the future of America is tied to the future development of Africa, I see nothing but blue skies in front. If we understand whether it's from sustainable energy, whether it's through housing development, all of the infrastructure talent and technology talent that we have here can be exported in partnership to create new opportunities and markets for American small businesses. And everyone knows no matter who's in the big chair, that's where I am. That's where I so, I want Africans all over the world to be able to go home.
Right.
Right now, having the ability to invest is difficult if you can't go home. Talent, skills, capability. I travel to West Africa all the time. I don't believe people need to be scared of themselves. And so what I will tell everyone, if you can go to Cartagena, Colombia to party, don't think you can't go to West Africa and find a place and have a good time, because do not believe the hype. It's beautiful.
That's right.
There are challenges, just like there are in most American cities, but it's beautiful. The resources are plentiful, and there are plenty of economic opportunities. And so I want to thank you for taking time to really give people a broader sense of the kind of people that are in Washington this weekend, discussing all kinds of things that are related to what we all hope will be, a great future for America as we move forward over the next 4 years.
So before I have a comment. So I had a conversation with someone in the state. I don't know what other person is in the state, but he works for the government. And he asked me, is Southern Cameroon not be another South Sudan? And I said no. And the reason is that Southern Cameroonians represent the true meaning of resilience. They have the first democratically elected government shortly after World War II. They had a government from 1954 to 1961 before the fake plebiscite. They had 3 leaders who were democratically elected. So between 1961, even when they voted them out, or when they came in to the fake elections, they joined as a federal system, as they were known as West Cameroon. Before the demolition or before the destruction in the fake French Cameroon policies in 1972, their systems were the best, and that is why they provide an enabling ground for this excellent banking system, excellent agricultural innovation systems, excellent seaport, airports, everything in Southern Cameroon. They have one of the best engineering school, engineering college, and they were about to start an engineering university in Bangladesh. They have the Ombe College, which was one of the best. So going back, I see Trump's second coming as a hope that South Cameroonians will go back to that.
When the president says drill, baby, drill, we want him to do it in Spanish.
Correct.
With Africans and African Americans. Drill, baby, drill.
Let me just add to what Dr. Richard just said and say here that we are not advocating for a new country. We are asking the Trump administration to officially recognize the country of Southern Cameroon that was voted at the United Nations. 64 member countries voted for our independence, and we are asking for that official recognition. And so we are not so separatists trying to separate from French Cameroon. We have never been one country with French Cameroon. Actually, as a matter of fact, they voted no for our independence. France voted no for our independence. So they know that we are not one country. There's no treaty union anywhere. We'll challenge them. If there is one at the United Nations, bring it. If there's one at the Commonwealth, bring it. There is no one anywhere. So we are not trying to separate or be separatists that are trying to cut out from French Cameroon as many people may look at it. France is the one painting that agenda and calling us separatists. We are not separatists. We are nationalists who want our country back, a country that once existed. So this is what we want the world to know. We are not separatists, we are not some bad people. We just want our country back, just like America fought and took its country back from Britain. Simple. That is what we want. Independence.
And remember, the United States voted Yes.
Yeah, United States.
For the independence of Ambazonia. Yes. And let me also add in what Pastor Reverend Dr. Victor Mbak was just saying about us being nationalists that are fighting for Ambazonia's as an independent state or country. Because I say this because under the Biden administration, Southern Carolinians or Amazonians were arrested here in America. They are there in prison in Kansas City, Missouri. There's Chief Lord Long Nestor and Chairman Frank Cheney. They are sitting there in prison. They're waiting trial under the Biden administration, and that is not supposed to happen. So we are all very excited that President Trump is coming back to office. We work very hard, and we know that President Trump will do the right thing for the Amazonian people.
Yeah.
That's what we're here in DC.
These three brothers arrested, who have been in jail for over 2 years. They were only coordinating resources and supporting
our people.
Suffering people
Right.
who are being killed every day. So now they have been in jail for over 2 years, no bail. So no judgment, no trial.
Meanwhile, we've been doing that to support Ukraine.
Yeah.
And nobody been arrested in America.
Let me also add that this is very important to us because other people like Man Gang and the LGHA too was arrested and tried and sentenced under the Biden administration. And we were hoping, and we have big hope, that President Trump is going to do the right thing for the Amazonian people. He's our man. He's my guy. I'm a Trumper. You know, so he's my guy. So,
People back home, as we promised to you when we came out here, we would come and share with you some of the experiences that we at the Woodruff Times have had here. And this diplomat corps, this cabinet has just allowed us to share in some of the conversations that they've been having and the hopefulness that they have for a second Trump term. So it's really been exciting. There's no way we could have planned that we were going to have this particular discussion. But we certainly are grateful to be a part of this. And as some people would say, you know, what does this have to do with Woodruff, South Carolina? Or what relevance does this have to do with your community? Our community asked for us to share what we're experiencing here at the inauguration. And it's more than balls, it's more than parties, and it's more than political minutia. It's people who are here advocating for real change in their countries. And so it has really been eye-opening and exciting for us to be a part of the stories that are going to happen here at the presidential inauguration in 2025. So thank you all for joining us, and hopefully you will all follow us here at the Woodruff Times so we can see how this story is going to develop, so that when there is such a celebration, yes, and then they can come to Woodruff, South Carolina, and see our hometown and celebrate with us there too. So again, congratulations on making it here to the inauguration, and we'll join you a little bit later on with some other very, very, very special people who are here with us.
thank you so